Nite with Kendra Dawsey. And here's your host, Kendra Dawsey.
Hi, Zach. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. I'm glad that we're both hoodie gang for this show.
Hoodie gang for life. Do you want to show off your hoodie, Zach?
Keeping it cash. Oh, yes. It's Tommy and Chucky.
Hell yeah.
Very, very cool.
And my hoodie says Jersey City.
Oh, hell yes.
Yeah. My roommate gave it to me because it didn't fit them anymore.
Okay. Great. That's great. Yes. Always here for repping Jersey.
Hell yeah. I
won't tell any of your New York people.
I'm wearing this hoodie because it is comfortable. I have no allegiance to anywhere but Harlem. All right.
Okay.
That's my official line.
Fair enough. So, besides inter-tri-state area rivalries, what else is on your mind this week, Kendra?
Well, I will tell you what's on my mind this week, Zach. So, I don't know if anyone here has heard this, but the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, otherwise known as IPCC, released a report just last week warning that rapid and deep cuts to greenhouse gas emissions are necessary by 2025 to avoid catastrophic climate effects. You may not have heard about this because after a catastrophic 2 years, you may feel a bit tired of the doom and gloom. Maybe, instead, you just wanted to read some takes on the slap at the Oscars and stop thinking about our increasingly dismal reality. But most likely, your main news sources absolutely refuse to promote this story, or the fact that thousands of scientists internationally staged protests against government's inactions towards climate change, and even a few got arrested. In Los Angeles, scientists chained themselves to the J.P. Morgan Chase building, and they were met with 100 cops in riot gear. Here we have a clip from NASA scientist Peter Kalmus.
So I'm here because scientists are not being listened to. I'm willing to take a risk for this gorgeous planet, for my sons. And we've been trying to warn you guys for so many decades that we're heading towards a fucking catastrophe. And we've been being ignored. The scientists of the world have been being ignored. And it's gotta stop. We're gonna lose everything. And we're not joking. We're not lying. We're not exaggerating. This is so bad, everyone, that we're willing to take this risk, and more scientists and more people are gonna start joining us. This is for all of the kids of the world, all of the young people, all of the future people. This is so much bigger than any of us. It's time for all of us to stand up and take risks and make sacrifices for this beautiful planet that gives us life.
Yeah, so that's not the most happy message, But of course, it's easier for the capitalist class to pat itself on the back about acknowledging the issue of climate change instead of actually doing something about the issue. So, just like a few weeks ago, there was an Oscar-nominated film starring Leonardo DiCaprio called Just Don't Look Up that was an extended allegory on this very issue. But at the same time, news coverage on this admittedly grim subject has been scarce. Lissa, if you can, let's take a look at what the major news sources in America are talking about today. So we have the New York Times. Obviously, there was a huge shooting in Brooklyn just yesterday, which is very worrying. Not dissing New York Times for talking about that, but let's go down a little bit. Let's see what's at the bottom. Let's see Omicron. We have inflation. The Philippines. What's Shane got to do with it? Central Park. Returning to Florence. Obviously keeping its finger on the pulse. So we have something that could hint towards climate change. Death toll in South Africa floods passes 250 people. Are they going to connect that to the effects of climate change? Who knows? And then we also have psilocybin, which may be something that you could use to get you through these times. But there's not really much there. I figure we shouldn't even look at Fox News because they're definitely going to call Peter Kalmus a crisis actor or something. But let's even look at CNN. And Zach, if you have anything to say about these headlines, let us know. So we have something on Johnny Depp and Amber Heard.
Oh yeah, the hard hitting stuff.
Russia puts sanctions on members of U.S. Congress. I don't know how that will work.
Who deserve it? If we're being honest.
I mean, yeah, but I don't think we'll do anything.
No.
And let's go down. So we have Amazon. We have that very muscular guy passed away. U.S. military confirms an interstellar meteor collided with Earth. Goddamn. It's kind of like Don't Look Up. I mean, we're here, so it's fine. But as you see, there's not really a lot on this huge issue where scientists, like thousands of scientists around the world, have tried to get us to do something about it. So let's go back. And yeah, I'm very happy to acknowledge that existential threats to all of humanity aren't a very good fodder for clickbait. And I do feel like it probably be helpful for the future if there was a little bit more reporting done on this. And it doesn't have to necessarily be doom and gloom reporting. I think one thing that a lot of scientists have very, very much emphasized is that even the smallest bit of action could save lives. Like if doing anything is better than doing nothing, So it doesn't have to be like, oh, doom and gloom, like we're all gonna die. It could be like, hey, maybe chain yourself to a Shell station today to try to help climate change. But thank you so much, everyone, for listening. Connect with local organizations who are talking about this topic, who are organizing around this topic. Those are going to be increasingly important. And let's buckle up because it's going to be a wacky ride. And we'll be back after this brief commercial break.
Hi, everybody. Zach here. I'm just going to give you a little bit of our commercial rundown here. As you may remember, last week we went to Fox News' homepage to look at what they were talking about, and we broadcast for all of our viewers the Fox News homepage and all of their headlines and all of their thoughts and ideas. And I didn't read the fine print, so apparently, because we did that, I am now obligated to let Fox News's advertisers in on our advertisements because of that. So I have to tell you all to buy or support one of the following products so that Fox stays happy with us. They don't cease and desist us for using their services. So reverse mortgage, get one. Go ahead. Tom Selleck selling them. You want one. Get yourself a reverse mortgage. You'll get paid money, and then the bank will get your house, and your kids who hate you anyway won't get the house. Great idea. Reverse mortgage. Gold, buy it. Get a lot. Bricks, doubloons, bullion. Get some gold. It's worth an amount of money that changes sometimes, but it's worth money. And if you're afraid of the dollar, just show up somewhere with some gold. You can. It's worth its weight in gold. Commemorative coins. They don't buy anything. They're not worth anything. You can't buy anything with them, but they're nice. Commemorative coins. Get all of your favorite presidents appearing on some coins. Iraqi dinars. They may become worth some money someday. It's a great conspiracy theory that if you buy Iraqi dinars, they will get revalued. So buy yourself some of those. Catheters. You might not need them now, but you might in the future. Get yourself some catheters. You can never have too many catheters in your house. You can have too many catheters in you, but never too many in your house. And this one here just says scammers. So support your local scammer. They're a sponsor of Fox News. Those weird books for kids about Jesus talking to the founding fathers. Those are a sponsor of Fox News. Be sure to buy all of those for your grandchildren who hate you. Draw the ire of your children who also hate you. And to be clear, when I say books about Jesus talking to the founding fathers, I'm not talking about the Book of Mormon. I am talking about the weird ones that Mike Huckabee sells. Go out and buy them from wherever. And then the last one here is a guy who will hug a cop if you give him $5. So you got to sponsor this guy. He's hugging cops for $5. If you don't like that one, I guess choose one of the other ones on the list. But you're going to have to support one of these, or else we're going to be in trouble with Fox News. So those are the Fox News advertisers, and I hope you give them lots of money, and I hope you get some gold out of it, or whatever you want. That's it.
All right, thank you so much, Zach. Yeah, I guess I will buy my weight in gold. Why not? Why not? Who knows? So Zach, let's go to our next segment. Things are happening. What's going on?
Things are happening. And if you know the thing that is happening, please put it in the comments so that we can perhaps maybe get to it. It's been a while, so you may have forgotten about this thing. But there's this thing called COVID, and it's on the rise again.
God, the way history repeats itself.
It's so crazy. It's like it's 2020 all over again.
I know. It's weird that, after we got rid of all these mask mandates and we got rid of testing, federal funding for testing for COVID. It's weird that there's more COVID now after we got rid of those mitigating efforts. It's just, I don't know.
Who can say why? Nobody can really say why. One interesting one is that that tells you that they kind of, somebody somewhere sees which way the wind is blowing, because they have extended the travel mask mandate. So those of us on the MBTA or on Amtrak or in airports or in Lyfts and Ubers will be wearing masks for the foreseeable future, because they know that that was sort of the last one, I feel like, that they could still enforce, and that one's sticking around. If that one was leaving, I would maybe think that meant we weren't going anywhere with this, but it looks like that one's going to stay for a while.
Yeah. I don't know when I'll stop wearing a mask in public spaces. They're good for a few things. One, it makes facial recognition software harder. It makes it hard. Two, also prevents me from getting a cold. I don't know. People have germs, and I don't.
And there are a lot of people. I really think we might want to I think there's a lot of people who don't realize that they were more attractive with the mask than without. I think if we just sold some sort of body negativity, that you people will think you're hotter if you don't show your whole face.
COVID cases would go down so much. It'd be amazing.
I think it would. I think that would work. I mean, but I mean, I agree, and I would like to. I would like to wear my mask all the time. I would also like to go to a bar, and I can't drink a beer with a mask on. So there's no.
Yeah, it's it just. I mean, I know we say this all the time, and it just feels very stupid. Deaths have gone down, but there are still, there's going to be millions of people who will become, disabled, or their lives are going to change because of COVID. Because I think we've been kind of acting like it's a just a cold, but it's something as contagious of a cold. But what we know about it now is what scientists knew about AIDS when it first started. It was we don't we know this is bad, but we don't know how we could fix it, kind of, right? So we're it's like an AIDS that you could spread by sneezing, in a way. I mean, not in terms of the gay panic surrounding AIDS, but in terms of what scientists know about this. So it just sucks. I would also like to go to a bar without worrying about it, and I know we say this all the time, but literally it didn't have to be this way. We could have not had this. Things could have been so much different. Maybe we wouldn't have been completely over the pandemic, but we definitely could have saved lives. We could have you know. But like it's we
Right.
didn't, and things are probably like, yeah, there's
Right.
like we don't know the long-term effects. If you have long COVID, it's like, oh, you might be more likely to have cancer. Like even if you have an asymptomatic case of COVID, you might, you know, you like your heart could just like fuck up. Like it's very this isn't a very happy episode. I'm sorry.
No, it's not. It's all right. But I mean, as somebody, I constantly think I'm dying anyway. So it does not help if you are somebody like me who just like everything you think is constantly the thing that's going to take you out of this world. So it's not good. And you know, as somebody who had COVID, I got over it, but you know, I could be downed by some sort of latent COVID symptoms at any point. And it's very, very not cool. And yes, and I think it's very interesting. Like you said, like, oh, you know, this couldn't have been like we could have saved tons and tons of lives. And I while that's true, I mean, first of all, it's not in this country's. We're not really a country that's about saving lives in general, but just like I think what's going to be the most miserable thing about it is not necessarily like when we look back, we're not going to think necessarily about the amount of people who died, but what they died for in terms of because until now things weren't really opening, and like you can make a case like, okay, now it's time to open stuff a little bit more or whatever, but people were dying for like to go to a restaurant and be surrounded by 6 feet of plastic in every direction, or to go to a comedy show and sit at tables that are like islands in 6 different corners of a like the completely not fun stuff that we were opening up to do is really what is the is the real kicker in terms of like people are gonna see pictures from that time like 10 years from now. It's like this was fun and cool. Like this was what was worth it.
We're downing like iodine tablets to prevent like radioactive whatever from, you know, we're gonna be like, we did all of that for this. It's frustrating. And I guess it's like one of those things where it's like, even like if people are vaccinated, if people like basically like if there was filtration, if there was HEPA filtration in every indoor like area, like cases there would not be as many people being infected. Like it's like we could have a more quote unquote normal life where like we could make it so that it's less dangerous for people to like hang out with like lots of people indoors. And I'm saying this as someone who's doing stand-up comedy. Like, I mean, I keep my mask on. It's hard, you know.
But stand-up comics who were, before there was even a pandemic, stand-up comics were super spreaders.
Yes, you're not wrong. But like, yeah, like there could be things that are done. Like if the government 2 years ago, if the government was like, if this is like spread through like airborne, let's try to get some like HEPA filters out there, or like, you know, then like businesses could stay open without getting half their employees sick. And like, I mean, it probably still wouldn't have been like ideal conditions, but yeah, there wouldn't be a labor shortage because like 1 million Americans died, you know, I don't know. It's just, and the same thing's going to happen with climate change probably. Like people are like, no, just keep working when there's flooded subway systems. It's like,
right. I don't think I have all the answers, and I don't think I would have done a great job. But I can say with some certainty, I would have handled all of this better than it was handled.
Yeah,
a very, very low bar, but I don't.
Biden, like I 100%. And if people are mad at me saying that, then like fucking tell them to step the fuck up. Like
right. It's very bad. In other health news that is also very depressing, have you been seeing all this stuff about how much microplastic we consume?
Oh yeah, we're pumped full of microplastics, which actually relates to climate change, because it's like we probably shouldn't be using plastic, but the plastic companies were like, yeah, plastic's totally recyclable, just like we could keep doing it. And it's recyclable, but not in the same way that like other like cans and stuff are, like this. Like it's not as good. We're it's probably, maybe that's why everyone's depressed. Maybe that's why like girls' titties are getting bigger. It's microplastics. I don't know. Like no one knows about.
Right, well, how are you trying to frame this now?
I'm trying to frame. Listen, to support my friends who want breast reductions, I am anti-microplastics, even if it does make titties bigger.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's keep the big naturals natural.
But yeah, like no one knows what the effect of microplastics are. It's kind of, oh, sorry. Oh wait, I don't know. Sorry about that.
Okay. Oh,
okay. Sorry.
Okay.
I wasn't sure. I was like looking back.
Okay.
Okay. And also, no, don't apologize, Liz. Don't apologize.
Oh wow.
So, like, if you want some big ones, you know they're not going to be natural. Use silicone. That's what you're supposed to do. And I don't think silicone could get into our blood, because that's like.
Well, I also don't. I guess this is what this episode is about now, but I'm pretty sure they haven't used silicone since like the early 2000s. It's all saline now.
Oh, I thought the outside was silicone.
Maybe it still is. I don't know.
Anyway, yeah.
The point is, for in most cases, we do not want our bodies to be full of plastic, and that is a problem. That it is just, it's not. My understanding is part of it is also like water treatment facilities where we're just sort of like diluting sludge into gray water that can be reused, but we don't realize that like the microplastics don't. So like we're watering our crops with this like non-potable gray water, but it is full of plastics that we did not know we're not in there.
God damn. Okay, yeah, that's
yeah.
Okay.
So
but yeah, like, so I remember there was something, I mean, we make a lot, so we might have mentioned this on this podcast where like people were just like huffing lead until like 1980 something. Like all the gasoline had lead in it, and
I believe in 92 there's no more lead in gasoline, and then in 79 there's no more lead in paint. Something like that.
Yeah. So like I think there was a study that did show like IQ was reduced in people that were around when there was still lead in paint, and of course,
yeah, I know. There's been some like people have related it to like the crime wave of the 80s, and then the drop off of the crime wave I
don't think it's like that true, but like definitely if there's someone who like, I mean, it's not good to have lead in your body, right? No. And like probably the same.
You're not a doctor. You can't tell me that.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said, well, you're not a doctor. You can't tell me what to do.
Based on what I've heard from doctors,
yes.
It's not good to have lead in your body. It might be the same with microplastics. I mean, it might not be. We don't know. But like, it's kind of weird that it's in us and we have to figure out. Like, it's like, ideally, we would have known before. You know what I mean?
Right. I'm just glad like YouTube wasn't around in 1978, because there would just be some guy with like, he's like, they're trying to tell me I can't buy lead paint anymore. It's fine. I'm going to use it on my baby right here. Like that sort of, I think it did exist to some level, but not in the same way it does now, where like anytime there's any sort of like public health thing, there's just some reactionary who's just going to go on YouTube and do the opposite. That type of guy, thankfully, did not exist the way he exists today in the late 70s.
Yeah, but God, and I know we don't have too much time yet left, but I feel like we should probably talk about the dude who shot people on the subway in Brooklyn. It was by Sunset Park. Luckily, it seems like thus far no one died, and the police caught him. of course, he was. They didn't catch him for 24 hours, and there's like cameras in every subway station, and he was wearing like a fucking gas mask. Like you would basically the cops. Eric Adams put way more cops in the subway, and it did not seem to do anything to like prevent this crime. But of course, people are going to be like, we need even more cops. You know.
Well, I mean, the cops were busy, arresting old ladies selling churros and
or like beating up people that jumped the turnstile.
Right.
But
yeah.
No, they couldn't be arsed to prevent someone from shooting 13 people on their way to work.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, I think not to be too conspiracy theory, but it does. I think there were. And of course, if I'm wrong, please let me know in the comments. We are in the pursuit of truth. But I think there were like only 3 subway stations where the cameras weren't working, and like one of that day, and one of them was the one where this guy was at. I think like I don't know what his connection to like the MBTA the MTA is. But yeah, it's fucked up. It's fucked up.
All right. Well, can I do some closing thoughts?
Of course. No, please do some closing thoughts, Zach.
Okay.
Happy.
Number one, I want to just real quick on Monday, or I'm sorry, yesterday, Tuesday, was my mom's birthday. Want to give a quick happy birthday shout out to Joanne, our number one viewer. Sometimes you'll see her as Joe Zillow in the comments. So be sure to, if you see Joanne down there, wish her a happy birthday. And then I just want to close with, I don't normally do stuff like this, but it is this is the week leading up to Easter, and Friday is Good Friday, and I saw an interesting Bible verse this week that I think relates very deeply to the conversation we were having before about cops arresting people who are protesting climate change. And one of the last things that Jesus says before he is crucified, before he's put up on the cross, is if they do this now while the wood is green, what will they do when the wood is dry? And I think that's pretty poignant towards why we all need to be radicalized now, because things are fucked up now, and for the capitalist class, the wood is green right now. Things are flourishing for them now. So if they're doing the stuff they do now while the wood is green, just think about what type of fuck up stuff they're going to do when the wood is dry. So I hope that message radicalizes you.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I also hope so. Thank you so much for watching. Please stick around for, I believe, honorable mentions with Rachel Jane Andelman, and we will see you next week.